Good afternoon. How are you doing? I'm Richard from Genki English. So today we've got a special workshop on niche versus avatar. What's the difference between the two? So this is really important for those of you teachers who are getting your own students. So if you're looking for more students, or you recruit your students either word of mouth or social media, whatever it is, you want more students, this is really important, because I've seen a lot of teachers making mistakes with it. If you're a government school teacher, you don't have to worry about this, which is fantastic. So you can skip today's workshop, just go to Genki English and just do awesome lessons. Or of course, if you sort of outsource this part of your teaching, like, if you're happy with the $20 an hour from like the Chinese companies and things like that, where you don't need to get your own students, that's cool as well. You guys can chill, relax, enjoy yourself. So as I say, today is for those good teachers out there, great teachers, all of you watching now, hello, who want to get more students. And it's just something that I've seen a lot of confusion about. So I'm going to clear it up very quickly today. And that's this thing about niche and avatar. Cool. So let's get on with it. Lots of people watching. Cool. If you've got questions while we're doing it, put it in the comments below. And if you can hear me okay, just let me know with some thumbs up and likes and things, or just let me know in the comments just to make sure everybody can hear me okay. Good. So we've got these two concepts of niche versus avatar. So let me just ask if people are watching live, do you guys know what a niche or avatar is? If you know what a niche or avatar is, like, put me a yes if you've heard of it. If you've never heard of niche or avatar, and we're not talking about the movie Avatar here. If you don't really know what a niche or avatar is, put no in the comments, and I'll get a feeling for what sort of level to pitch this out, because I don't want to go too high, too low. I want to try and get it just right. So let me know if you guys are comfortable with the terms niche and avatar or not. And then I'll go through. So Graziana says yes, which is cool. Okay, and says ciao as well. Ciao. Oh, it's very cool. And Sophie says yes. Awesome. So let's go through. Through some of the differences between the two. So the two different things. Usually, your niche comes first. So usually, you need to get your niche sorted out, and then once you got your this side, once you got your niche sorted out, then we can do work on your avatar. Okay. So Julie's just put on there, niche, yes, avatar, no. Okay, awesome. So let's have a go. So the reason I'm doing this training today is that next week we're doing this month's Mastermind session, where we all get together on a big Zoom call and we all talk together and you help each other out. And we're doing that on an avatar deep dive. We're going deep into avatar work. Okay. But before we do that, you can't really do the avatar unless you've got an idea of a niche in mind. So I just want to make sure everyone's really cool about this. And it's interesting, even Dasha, who's totally awesome, says avatar yes, niche not really. So I think it's just a semantics thing. Let's just clear it up. So niche and avatar, two very different things, okay? And so what is a niche? Or I think the Americans call it a niche. So what is a niche? It's the thing you put things in a wall, a little hole in your wall, but that's traditionally means. What it means now is, it means what specifically are you doing? So, for example, a long time ago, you used to be able to say things like, I'm an English teacher, or I'm an artist, or I'm a coach, okay? And so that was really, really broad, and it was fantastic, because if you happen to be in your local town and you said, hey, I'm an English teacher, people go, cool, because there are not many around, okay? Or if you are online and you're an English teacher, you say, I'm an English teacher, and people go, cool, and they come to you. Of course, the challenge now is that if you're online or in your local town, then there are millions of English teachers and millions of artists and millions of coaches. So people don't know, and they don't find out who you are and what you do and things like that. Now, the traditional way before was you would just become famous. You would be the English teacher who happens to be on TV. If you look at Italy and Japan and Thailand, when I go to workshops, and I get quite a few people. We got 1,000 people. I get a few hundred people coming to chat to me, and in some countries when I go there, there's the TV person there, and they get thousands of people. They've got fans just going up to them. It's crazy. So If you get really, really famous, if you're the most famous English teacher in your country, you can just be the English teacher. But for most of us, that's not an option. And in these days, it's really expensive as well to get on TV. It's really expensive. You know, if you're doing thousands and thousands of Facebook ads, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So we need to find a better way of doing it. And the better way of saving you a lot of money is by niching down. So this comes from the idea that there are so many English teachers there and nobody really wants an English teacher, yeah? And so the phrase used to be, generalists survive, specialists thrive. So if you're feeling a bit ill, you go to the GP, you go to the regular doctor. But if you've got a real big pain in your left eye that's absolutely killing you, you want to go to the eye doctor who specializes in eyes. Yeah. If you go and you've got a particular thing with a particular organ in your body, you might go to the regular doctor first, but then they will send you to a specialist who specializes in the liver or the pancreas or the thyroid or whatever it is. You want the best person, especially if you want someone operating on you, you want the specialist person, this person who's spent a lot of time learning that one thing. And that's the way we do things for humans, vet medicine, compared with, say, a vet, because a vet does everything. Yeah. But with humans, you don't go to a vet, you go to a doctor who specializes in that one thing that you've got. And this is what you have to do with your online or offline teaching as well. You can't just be the English teacher because there are thousands of them. You have to niche it down, which means teach something really specific. So, for example, I'll bring some English ones up in a second, but if you look in other markets, yeah, just a minute, which one of these come up as a scrolling thing because there's so many of them. So these are some niches that people are successful with teaching online. So, for example, instead of just flowers or gardening, it's orchid growing. Yeah. Instead of just being a yoga teacher, it's the yoga teacher who helps people with bad knees. Yeah. Instead of just drawing, it's how to draw your pet. Yeah. If it's a music, it's not just songwriting, it's EDM songwriting or effects routing for the new version of Logic Pro. It's something very, very, very narrow. So what that means is when you come to do your marketing, whether that's word of mouth or whether it's paid for, instead of getting known as the big thing, you get known as the very niche thing, which means it's easier for you to market and it's easier for you to do adverts and it's easier for you to do challenges. It's easier to get word of mouth. Does that all sort of make sense for everybody? Yeah. Just let me know if that makes sense in the comments. If it's not making sense, let me know as well, which is cool. So if we look at English, instead of saying you're an English teacher, we need to niche it down. So you would say, let me just get rid of that one. I'll count two ones. So I can teach English for doctors, English for kids. But then again, English for kids is really broad. So maybe English for kids who hate school, English for kids who love to play with Lego. Yeah. English for newly arrived learners. In a lot of countries where new immigrants come in and they need the language really quickly. So you specialize in that. English for busy mums. Yeah. English for mums who want to teach their own kids. That's a huge niche, as those people in the business group know. English for physicists. Today I just put a post on about, I got invited to the Swedish princess for a week, to spend a week on an island, her private island with all the living Nobel Prize winners, which is crazy, but that was all physics. It was like narrow, yeah? You can do English for grannies if you just want to focus in on just teaching English for grannies. And what happens is you become known as the person for that niche. And because there are less people doing that specific niche, you can stand out and become that most famous person there. Do you see? So if you were going for all of English and saying all of English, you have to be the most famous English person in your country or online in the world, which is really hard to do. But if you niche it down, you just have to be the best English teacher, the most famous English teacher for doctors, or the most famous English teacher for busy mums, or the most famous English teacher for granddads who want to do a new hobby or something like that. Niche it down. Does that make sense? Okay, right, okay. Everybody's saying makes yes. Okay, cool. So you need to figure out what this niche is that you're going to do. Okay, and you need to have an idea of this before we move into the avatar section. Okay, because if you don't know what your niche is, then the avatar bit doesn't work. Okay, now the niche can be the thing. Like, okay, I teach English. It can be things like, English. I teach. Oh, just got scrolling again. I do IELTS English, or I do speaking English, or I do grammar English, or I do this particular textbook, or I do this certification, or I do this job, or I do this. Or it can be for people, yeah? So like English for mums, English for grannies, English for doctors, English for people who hated English at school, English for people who are 45 and they think that they never learn English, but I'm going to show you how to do it in 3 months or something like that. Just narrow it down to a niche, okay? And one thing is as well is, for now, you just choose one niche, okay? You don't have to know it. I know a lot of people, like when I'm doing like coaching and things, or especially if we're in big group coaching and live events, and a lot of beginner teachers, especially a lot of you who maybe moved online, you're not sure, you don't know what your niche is, and you think you have to have one niche, okay? You start with one niche, but you can always change, okay? So you can get known for one thing and then move to another thing and then move to another thing. So like with me, with Genki English, we were known as for doing kids stuff, like teach 1,000 kids at once. That was my niche, was people who want to learn English, teaching English for kids really quickly. It's cool. But then I started doing the advanced C1, C2 course. So now Genki English is known as like one of the best C1, C2 courses. So 2 different niches, yeah? So just pick one for now, what you would like to do. What would you like to be spending most of your time doing? And then know that later on you can expand it out with other niches if you want, or you can completely change. But this is not a whole identity thing. It's not like a regular job, yeah, where it becomes your identity. You can change stuff, yeah, according to what you do. So yeah, so Sophie says, can you handle having 2 niches? Yeah, I will just cover that. But you always do one at a time, okay? And in next week's mastermind, when we're doing about the avatar, just do it for one, and then you'll redo the activity later for another niche. Okay, does that mean okay, it's okay for everybody? Yeah, good, great questions. So I think that's basically about niche. You just choose. I'm not going to go too in depth on this because obviously we're going to move on to avatar, but choose the niche that you feel comfortable doing. Don't do something you don't feel comfortable with. Yeah, if you love teaching, the kids, the kids who get thrown out of school and are excluded from school. If you love teaching those kids, teach those kids. That could be your niche. Yeah, English for kids who've been excluded from mainstream school. Awesome, because some people love that, but then again, some people hate that. Yeah, and some people only do English for children who are the most English for gifted children. Let's go for that one. English for gifted children, or English for children who behave like little angels. Okay. You can choose, because this is the whole beauty of it. It's such a broad market that, one teacher can do. They thrive on reaching those hard to reach teenage kids. Some people thrive on just having a beautiful environment where they don't want to deal with all the teenage angst. Yeah. You get to choose who you teach and what section, what niche you want to do. Okay. So that's the sort of thing about it. What do you want to do and what you don't want to do? But don't focus too much on the negative stuff, because I know when we do this exercise, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. I hate teaching that. I hate that and hate that and hate that. You just get really down. Focus on what you'd love to be teaching. If you could be known as one niche, one specific niche, what would that want to be? What would you be famous for? What do you want to be famous for? Do you want to be the best conversation teacher on TikTok? Yeah. Do you want to be known as the teacher who gets you an extra 100 points on IELTS? I'm not sure if that's possible. Do you want to be the teacher who people come to when they want to learn a year of English in 90 days? Do you want to be the teacher who people come to when they want to ace this one particular exam? What do you want to be famous for? What niche do you want to be famous for first? So choose that and off you go. Rex has put there, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. Cool. Yeah, Gainer's put English for people coming to an English language country for their jobs, i.e. a doctor. Perfect. Yeah. If any of you got examples of your niche, try putting it in, and we'll give you some feedback. If you want feedback on your niche, let's do that now, because we need to get it done ahead of the mastermind next week. Good. Barbara's putting there. I use my niche area of expertise and design my avatar of one leading person that stands out in my niche area. I'm not quite sure what that means. That's again, okay, cool. Really good. Graziana, what if you teach 2 languages? Do one and do the next. So Graziana's got an awesome challenge. So Graziana is Italian and she lives in Japan. So for an English teacher, there's a lot of competition in Japan. There's a lot of competition in Italy. Remember, world is internet, it's worldwide now. However, there are very few Italian teachers teaching Italian in Japan. Very few of them. There's like one guy I know. He's the famous guy. So you've got to beat Graziana. But that's a much smaller market. So you've got a much better chance of getting to the top with it, teaching Italian to Japanese people, because you've got those skills and you can become the top. Now, sometimes the niche can be too narrow. Yeah, maybe too narrow, and you think, well, there's not enough people here, and there's not enough people here, and I get really bored of it or something. In which case, you can then do another niche and broaden out. But always choose one first, and then go to the next one. Okay. Sometimes with Genki English, people say Genki English is a little bit too is too niche. Like when I go to conferences and things, and people say, "What's your niche?" and I'm like, "Okay, so it's English for people who know that textbooks and grammar are not the way to learn, who want to learn in a fun way, or for beginners and they want to get results really quickly." That's like a really super niche. And to be honest, there are probably not enough people in the world to support this niche. That's why all of you are so awesome. But also that means that if in that niche, you can dominate it. No one, nobody beats Genki English for being Genki, yeah, because we coined the term. So, does that make sense for everybody as far as niche is concerned? Does that make it a bit clearer for you? So the niche is what you do and the very narrow market. Okay, just let me know in the comments if that's okay for you, and then we'll move on to avatar. So then, what's the difference between niche and avatar? So let me just wait for some comments to come in. Cool. Yes. Good. Good. Red saying, haha, I'm not sure what Red, okay, Red, could you write down your comment? Could you write down your comment you put on my personal page? Could you write it in here about your experience with niching down? Because Red's got a fantastic experience with that, which is cool. Okay, so there we go. Okay, good. So that's your niche. Then what's the difference then between a niche and an avatar? So I've gone back to my notes now. Oh, just one thing before a niche. Let me just go back to one thing on niche. If you want to play this at ninja level, okay, the very best niche is you. Okay, now for most of you, you're not at this level yet. So for most of you, you have to describe it in terms of, I do English for blah, blah, blah. I teach English, blah, 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 sort of way. But for some people, when you get really niche, your name becomes your niche. And this is the sort of thing you want to be aiming for. So if you look on YouTube and things, some of the most famous English teachers on YouTube, they're just known by their name. Like I think Lucy's got like 4 million views or whatever it is. She's just known by her name. Like nobody knows her brand. So just that's what she does. She's her name and her style of teaching. Yeah. And you look with Genki English as well. Genki English is just Genki English. It's like the only one doing it. Yeah. It's with a niche there. So at the end of the day, if you can make it so you become really popular, then your name just becomes a brand, and you don't need a more narrow niche because people know your style, how you teach, what you teach, how you give feedback, how you smile, your balance of entertaining versus teaching and things like that. So your niche becomes you. We just did a course. We're just one of the students doing a course this week, and they sold out. I think that in the first evening and opening their online course, they'd sold most of them. And the following morning, they'd sold out of their online course. But it's because they were famous enough. They were known for their particular thing. So everybody wanted that. So they just did it. So, but that's just a ninja thing. For now, for most of you, stick to regular, so English for doctors, English for kids, English for mums who want to teach their own kids, English for physicists, blah, blah, blah. Best conversation teacher on TikTok, whatever it is, 1,000,001 different things like that. Okay. So that's niche things. Okay, so let's get rid of that. So let's go to avatar. So then if niche is the thing you're teaching, this narrowed down, very specific thing, then what is avatar? Okay, we've got some examples before I move on to this. We've got some examples on here. Dash is born out. Mums of highly sensitive young kids who are positive and want their kids to bloom. There we go. That's a great niche. So her niche is mums. So I presume it's teaching English, but not necessarily English there, which is interesting. Good. Good. Elise says niche, very clear. Okay. So you notice I opened a loop here about avatar, and I'm not telling you what avatar is yet. Curiosity is a fantastic thing. You know, one of the best things I would always do in my classes, and this works for kids or adults, is in the front, when you're doing a lesson, either in the background or video, or if it's a live lesson, you just put a toy or something weird on the desk at the front, and all the way through the lesson, the people are going, "What's that? What's that?" They're just wondering what it is, but you never tell them what it is. You just keep this curiosity going through. Curiosity is one of the most powerful things. So that's why I'm purposely delaying a little bit on avatar. But yeah, okay, I think you've been curious enough. So what is avatar? So avatar is the person who is going to buy your product. Now, some of you will say, that's the same thing. No, it's not. The niche is, for example, let's just bring up some examples of niches. Where are we? Okay, let's just bring up dashes. That's the last one. Mums of highly sensitive young kids who are positive about wanting their kids to bloom. That's a general thing. It's mums who, mums of. Yeah. Gainer's thing was, you know, English people, English for people coming to an English language for jobs for their jobs. That's a group of people. Yeah. It's a group. The niche can be a group of people. Yeah. The avatar is the one perfect person who will buy your product. One person. One person. You're not speaking to a group. When we talk about avatar, you've got to get in the head of the one perfect person who will buy your product. Okay? Now, the reason we do this is because later on, marketing and things like that becomes a lot easier. Making decisions in your business becomes a lot easier. Now, does this perfect person exist? Usually, no, because they're perfect, and nobody's perfect. They're a construct you make in your head of one person. That's what avatar is. It's the one perfect person. And what we do is we try to get as near to that perfect person, or attract people, or create people as near to that perfect person as we can. Okay. Now, the thing with avatar is this thing with avatar. It's got to be specific. The key is specificity. If you just say, oh, who's your perfect avatar? Oh, it's mums. It's not specific. It's not one person. Okay. If you say, who's your avatar? And you say, okay, it's a mum who lives 5 meters from my school and's got 3 kids. It's not specific enough. It needs to be super, super, super crazy, crazy, crazy specific. Okay. Now, some of you will say, but if you drill down that far down, then this person doesn't exist. And you're going, yes. This is one of those mindset type things where you drill down and drill down and drill down, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it gets to nothing, and then boom, the answer pops out at the end. Okay. It's one of these activities where doing the work gets you to a point where you find the answer and you go, oh, that's it. And it becomes so much easier. And then you just start seeing these new students everywhere you look. Okay. It's the, I forgot the story, but there's a story about that, isn't it? I forgot what it is now. But anyway, yeah. So it's get into one person. So what you need to do is, this is what we're going to do next week. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and we're actually going to do it next week in next week's mastermind. Is you need to write down everything you know about this person. You need to know everything. You need to be able to describe this person. If this person committed a crime, could you write down the complete profile of this person so the police can go out and catch them straight away? Okay. Okay, that's probably not the best example. A better example is know everything about this person. So when you come to making an ad or a Facebook challenge or a conversation with somebody, they know exactly who your program is for. Okay. Now, of course, things like, you know, where they are, what their income level is, what they think of their kids, how they react with their kids, who their kids are. Do they have kids? They might be learners. What's their job? What's their occupation? What's their attitude to learning? How often do they love to learn? What's their respect level for other people? How are their communication skills? Are they super confident people? You want to teach those? Or do you want to teach people who've got no confidence? Are they super arrogant people because you want the challenge? Or do you want people who are more friendly and will help you out? You need to niche this down and get to know everything about them. A lot of it is physical things, you know, so one great example we start off with is the Range Rover test. Yeah. So we for a lot of you, when you first start teaching, you're aiming too low in your prices. So one thing we say to people is, imagine your avatar is somebody who drives a Range Rover. How would that change your attitude financially and things like that? That helps you get the finances better. So part of it is those sort of external things. Although, of course, when we use the Range Rover example, but everybody always says, "Oh, I don't Range Rover people. They're horrible people. They're." So you have to do the physical things, but also the psychometrics. What's that person like? What goes on in their head? How do they react? How do they treat people? How do they treat their families? What do they think about this? What are their goals in life? How do they react to diversity? How do they react to adversity? And things like that. So this is what we're going to do next week, is we're going to go through some very specific questions to really nail down and identify your avatar. And what happens is the clearer you become in your head, you see who that person is, you just see them everywhere. It's the reticular activation system, yeah? Some people call it the law of attraction, yeah? If you get really clear in your head as to exactly who you want to attract, you'll see them everywhere. And it's just because your brain... so much sensory information coming into your brain, it can't process everything. Your brain only shows you the things you want to see, okay? So if you know exactly what you want to see, you'll start seeing these people everywhere online and in all sorts of different places. Usually, people will write out maybe a page about their avatar. And the business group, I think a lot of you have got, like, in the workbook in the business group is 1 page. Some people write 3 pages. I want you to write 10 pages. I want you to know everything about your avatar. Okay, drill really deep. And as soon as you do that, everything else becomes really simple. Okay? But before we do that, you have to have an idea of what your niche is. Because if you don't know what your niche is, there's no point drilling down. Like, for example, if you say, okay, I'm going to do English for grannies, and you drill down with your avatar there, and then you think, well, no, really, I don't. I want to do it over here. You're going to have to do all that work again. So that's why I'm doing this little bit of a training now, because I want all of you to think about what your niche is before Tuesday's mastermind session, okay? So I want to get, and you can change it later because you're going to learn the questions to ask in the mastermind group. But you'll get much more out of it if you can brainstorm which niche you want to start off with and which one you want to do first. You'll get a lot more out of that next week, okay? And also as well, you can also have one niche and several avatars if you want, and we'll just choose one at a time. So for example, Genki English has 3 main avatars. One of our avatars is parents who want their kids to learn at home because they don't like how it's taught at school. Another one is adult learners who want to learn really quickly because they realize textbooks are not going to get them there, and Genki English will. And also teachers who are fed up of teaching in boring old-fashioned ways, so they get Genki English. They do it. It's the same product. We have 3 different avatars. So you can also do that as well. But of course, for now, just one avatar. Okay, so we've got lots and lots of questions and things coming in now. So let me just have a look, go through some of these. Yeah, Sophie's put down English for kids who want to speak English. So this is the niche. That's cool. Is that too broad? What's the competition like? Can you become the best person at that, Sophie? Can you actually become, if we say, kids who want to speak English, go to Sophie. Can we do that? Maybe do you need to niche it down a little bit more? Borislav says crystal clear. Good. Good. Sophie says also means it's not because we all use Genki English in competition. Everyone has a different approach. Yeah. So this is the thing, you can't. Nadasha was wanting to do Genki English with sensitive kids. Other people want to do Genki English for kids who failed exams. Other people want to do Genki English for kids who are focused on different hobbies and things. Yeah. So it means even though you're using the same Genki English, your niche is different. Yeah. And then from the niche, the avatar goes deeper on that. Okay, let me have a look. Oh, blimey, lots of questions. Okay, so oh, blimey, just a minute. Loads and loads of questions. Okay, I wasn't. How come last week we had no questions? I was planning for an hour, and then today I was planning for 30 minutes, and we got lots of questions. Okay, let me have a go at these. Niches. Does the person belong to a niche? Yeah, they'll belong to it, and they're one person in that niche. Yeah, the one person in the market for that niche. Yeah, but a niche can be the group of people, or it can be the thing. Whereas the avatar is the one person. Yeah. Sophie says you've got to be sort of unrealistic. Yes. So it's like the thing where you go perfect, perfect, and you realize, oh, that's actually what I want at the end, just by drilling it down. Yeah. Good. Rex put his comment here. This is something that I got really wrong 8 years ago when I started. I thought as an all-star teacher, hey, that I could do everything. Yeah. It left me burned out with very little to show. I learned how to trim away the classes that weren't my niche and double down on the students who were actually buying my services. Now I teach half the levels I once did. Awesome, right? That's fantastic. So I know we all say we want to teach everybody. I did. I started off. When I was teaching my classes, I was doing regular classes, 40 kids in the class. I was like, okay, 40 kids, 5 classes a day. How many am I going to teach in a year? It's a few hundred kids. I want to teach more. So I started teaching 1,000 kids a day. And then I went to teaching 3,000 kids a day. And after I did 3,000 kids a day, I was doing it every day. And after 3 years of putting myself in hospital, one time I was in on the morning, I taught 3,000 kids. I was taken to hospital. They put me on a drip. And I got taken afterwards to a teacher workshop afterwards and was doing a full-on Genki English teacher workshop. So I have to realize that's not going to work. I can't reach everybody. If you look at even the big religious leaders in the world, they didn't get everybody. Otherwise, everybody would be the same religion. Yeah, there are lots of different. You've got to niche down because you can't teach everybody. And what was the phrase I had at the beginning? I can't remember what's now. What was the phrase I had at the beginning? Generalists survive, specialists thrive. Although, to be honest, generalists right now don't survive because no one can see you. No one can find out where you are, and then you end up like Rhett or burnt out. Okay, let's go for some more questions. Blimey, there's so many questions. Good. Okay. Rhett says, I wrote my student's avatar based on who I was when I was a boy, a kid who failed at school. Cool. So if that's who you want to help, boom, drill it right down to get the one person. And I would say for some of us, that's not the best avatar. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, especially those of you who are in a different country and think, oh, Rhett's in a different country. But yeah, so that's certainly one way of doing it, which is awesome. Good. Again, it says, I was mixed up with the avatar in module 1. Is it the actual person I'm teaching, or is it the person who will be paying for your lessons, i.e. parents? Okay, it's a good question. Okay, so in most businesses, the avatar is the client, it's the customer, the person you're teaching in most businesses. When you're teaching to kids, it's the parent, okay? But you put the kid as part of the avatar. So you say, okay, so my avatar is a parent who is this age, who does this, these hobbies, lives in this place, has this sort of car, this sort of debt level, blah, 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 blah. And they have a kid who is blah, 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 blah. So you put the really specific stuff about the kid as part of the parent avatar. Because otherwise you end up with the problem I've got. So the problem I have is that Genki English is designed for kids who want to learn at school, okay? So it's designed for kids who don't, 95% of kids don't learn from textbooks and grammar stuff. So my program is for the kids. It's for all kids, basically. It's just for kids who want to learn because they can't learn from books and stuff. That's my avatar, I thought. But I'm selling it to teachers. Most teachers don't want that. Yeah, so there's a different thing. So look at it. Your avatar is the parent. And talk about all the things about the parent. And then a parent who has a kid that is, blah, 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 and put all the descriptions of the kids, which is really good. Good. Good on there. Gainers put on there. Bob Proctor on YouTube is going to explain law of attraction. Yeah, I would be careful. I'm always wary of people who do woo-woo stuff. Make sure you learn the science behind it as well, the reticular activation system. Law of attraction works, but it works because it's science. There's science behind it. Does knowing your avatar better help you know how to find it? Yes. This is the whole reason we're doing it. As soon as you know your avatar, you'll just start seeing them everywhere online. You'll get more clarity of ideas. Because if you don't know your avatar, you're trying to get everybody, and it's like here and there and there and there and there, and you're looking, and it's like, where are they? And is it that or that? But once you know, boom, you go. Yeah. It's like McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's is a very specific avatar. Yeah. Not everybody likes McDonald's. They advertise for a very specific place. Yes, it definitely does. Good. At least Enza says, listening to you, I realize I have an avatar, but I didn't think to her as an avatar before. Okay, yeah. Yeah, if it's a real person, if it's one person, that's awesome. If you think, She's the mother. She's the mother I want. I want all the mothers, all the kids to be like that. Boom. Yeah. Just model her and say, I want 50 more. I want 50 more Enzas. I want 50 more. If I could, 120. If I could have 120 Enzas, my school would be perfect. It would be awesome. Is she good? Dash says, are we ourselves a model for our avatar in the long run? Yeah, you can be, you might not be. So like Rhett says, you can be, you might not be. Good. Gainer says, I want to do G for special needs kids, autistic ones. So far, the 2 kids have shown to it. Love it. Yeah, that's a definite niche. In America, I think it's about a 50-50 split now. I think in America, schools that use Genki English, school districts who use it either for Hispanic students who've just arrived and they want to, they need to get their spoken English up, or in places like New York and California, it's for special needs kids. So that's another niche, yeah. So again, don't do too many niches, yeah. Do one, master it, and then move to the next one. Yeah. Graziano said, I've been teaching everybody for 25 years and I actually love it. Maybe that's my problem. No, if you're famous enough, see. This is one thing about being in Japan, in a local area in Japan, is that as a foreigner, you stand out and you just become famous. So people just come to you and you can get enough students like that. Yeah. So usually we'll say Japan or Europe or South America, 120 students will get you a very nice salary and a very nice retirement. And 120 students, maybe coming for a year or two, that lets you reach a lot of people, yeah? So you can actually do it by being general because you can be the most famous person in that area, yeah, if you're in a smaller area. But if you're in a bigger town, say Tokyo, where there are lots and lots of English teachers or Italian teachers, it's more difficult to float to the top. And if you're online, where, look how many people we've got on here today. We've got 33 people watching me live. We're going to have a few hundred people watching this. We've got thousands of teachers using Genki English. It's a lot more difficult to float to the top if you're going for everybody, okay? So I think for most of us who've got a geographic school, if you've been teaching in a geographic area, you're automatically shrunk down because you're the best teacher in blah, blah, blah village or blah, blah, blah town. Yeah. But when you're going online, or if there are other people coming into your town, then it's a lot more difficult to float to the top. That's why you need to niche down more. But great question. Yeah. Vitaly says, I don't like the word but. So we always replace the word but with and, because if I say something and you go, but, we're all fighting and it doesn't get us anywhere, yeah? If I say something, you go, and you say the exact same thing, boom, then that's how we progress, okay? So, and if my niche is currently school kids 7 to 9, I feel I start losing command of upper intermediate level, okay, yeah. So we've got to be jacks of all trades anyway. Well, this is more about the skill than the marketing of it, yeah? So, if you've got to decide which one you want to do. As I say, if you've got enough students, if you've got 120 or 200 students, however many students you need, cool, you don't need to do this work because you've already got enough students, yeah? But if you feel you haven't got enough students yet, you want to niche down. And you can do one and then do the next, but master one niche before going to the next niche. Because if you do 2, it splits your energy and you don't end up achieving any of them. Humans can't multitask, yeah? So do one and do the other. So if you've got 7 to 9 and your school's doing great on that, and then you want to do upper intermediate as well, cool. If that's great, put it on autopilot. Excellent. We've got enough kids. Don't need to market this year. Boom. Energy's over here. But just do one and then the next. It's cool. Yeah, and keeping up your skills is really important. Keeping up your teaching skills, and also for those of you English is not your native language, then keeping up your English level as well is really important. Or if you're living in, this isn't such a problem nowadays, but if you're a native speaker living in a non-native speaking country, you've also got to keep your language up as well. And most people in Japan, their English goes way down. Luckily, Netflix and things helps us a lot for that. So good. Lily says, niche, English for kids struggling with it. Okay. Avatar mums having children between 7 and 12 who hate English and the mums cannot help them. Cool. So we need to drill that down. We need 3 or 10 pages of description of exactly who the avatar is, because it's still too broad. Okay. You need to know, you need to be able to see them in your head, know exactly who they are. When you see them on the street, when you see them in a Facebook group, when you see them on Instagram, when you see them on TikTok, you go, that's my avatar. She's perfect for me. That's it. And then you have got the confidence then to approach them, or they even better, they approach you and you know where they are. That's what we're doing next week. That's in next week's mastermind. Good. Gainer says, thanks, back to module 1 again. Yeah, I know. You get better at it. So, when we do the business course, you're learning the avatar for your market. You're learning the marketing skills, the pricing skills, blah, 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 blah. but you're also learning how to do that. So once you've been through the business course a couple of times, you can then go back and then do it for other niches, or in this case, maybe other businesses as well. Yeah. So that's the way I designed the courses. You can keep going round and round and round and round and round, which is very cool. Okay, I think that's all the questions there. If anyone's got any more, I'll just answer them there. But yeah, so that's basically two different things. So niche versus avatar, two different things. The niche is the actual thing you do. It's the whole area, narrow it down. And then the avatar is the one, the avatar is the one perfect person who will buy your product. And you've got to spend a lot of time thinking about it in the right way, ask the right questions, and write down, getting as specific as you can. If you can pull up a picture of them from the internet, you can do that as well. That's what avatar is. This is what we're doing next week. So on Tuesday, we're going to do the Avatar Deep Dive Mastermind. So in a Zoom call where you'll be all talking to each other, you're going to drill down and you're going to paint the perfect picture, or rather discover, because it's all in your head, discover the perfect picture of who your avatar is, so you can be crystal clear. Okay. And I know in the business group, we ask people to do it, as an exercise, like, to do it as homework, but not everyone's taking as much time as maybe they could. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to do this as a group mastermind online for 2 hours. So we can spend that 2 hours, focus on this and just get this sorted. And then all the marketing and everything else and the pricing as well becomes a lot easier afterwards. The reason I did this as well is I did, the 2,000 teacher workshop I was in the other week, where they had like 2,000 people on a Zoom call. This is one of the things we did. We actually stopped, and everybody did this avatar exercise. Even the millionaire teachers, the teachers who've got, they bring in $1 million a year from teaching. They stopped, they went to it, and every year they refocus on their avatar. They do the work. The karate story is that the last time I went to this conference in real life, the guy sat next to me was the karate world champion. Yeah, karate world champion. And I said to him, why are you going to this avatar workshop? Yeah. And I'll tell you the answer to what he said to me. I'll tell you that in next week's mastermind. So there we go. So let's see if there's any more questions. Vitaly says, what time on Tuesday? It's 9 a.m. Europe time, Central Europe time, which is pretty cool. Good. Okay, a few more questions. So it says, English for questions whose parents struggle at English at school. Is there too much avatar in that niche? No, because your avatar is one person, yeah? So the niche can be a group of people, but the avatar is one person. Who is that one person? The one ideal person, yeah? Good question. Joseph, if I'm trying to build a niche, but people outside that niche want lessons, should I not accept them? Oh, now this is the spaghetti question. Okay, you've got to choose. You have to choose. So if you decide and you say, okay, my life plan or my plan for the next 5 years, my business plan for the next 5 years is I want to make gorgeous, delicious, organic, natural ice cream. That's my passion of my life. That's what I want to do. I want to do gorgeous, delicious ice cream. And you set up your stall, in Sermione, outside beautiful Lake Garda. There's a guy selling the kumquats, and then you've got this beautiful, delicious, organic ice cream. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want some spaghetti, please, what do you say to them? Yeah. Now, if you're truly passionate in this organic ice cream, or this type of English, or this whatever you're doing, if this is your passion, what you want to do, what do you say to them? Do you say, just a minute, I'll pop off and I'll just make you some spaghetti? And you go and make them some spaghetti, and you come back and give them spaghetti. Fine, they've got their spaghetti. You made it, you might have enjoyed it. The problem is, while you were making that spaghetti, all the people who wanted your beautiful, delicious, passionate, heartfelt, organic ice cream couldn't get it because you were away making spaghetti. So there we go. I hope that helps. So if you want more if you want more details on the mastermind, it's at genkyenglish.com. If people in the business group, it's in the Genki business group, it's in the events tab there. We've got VIP discounts as well. If you want to join me, it's going to be a Zoom call. Again, it's a bit ninja. If you're like, yeah, English, blah, 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 I don't really care. I'm just doing it because I can't get another job, or I'm not bothered about English. It's not your passion. Don't join us, because it's going to be full of passionate, amazing people. Like you saw the mastermind we did last month. Was everybody? We do breakout rooms. Like at least it's 2 hours. We've got at least 3 or 4 breakout rooms. You'll be learning from other real teachers. You'll be checking out each other's avatars. You'll be refining, asking each other hard questions. You'll be pushing. I'll be hard on you. It's not a wussy type workshop. I'll be asking hard questions. You'll be sharing stuff. You'll be able to ask more questions. You'll be helping each other, building this community so you can all get super clear on your avatar. So you don't have to go making spaghetti for everybody. You can do the thing that you love to do, your life's passion, the thing that makes you alive, the thing that brings you the finances to support your family, the things that let you enjoy the time off that you have, and then the thing that makes your contribution to the world. What are you going to be famous for? What are you going to do that people are going to say, that's the person you want for that? And then eventually you'll get so famous, people just know your name. That's what it's all about. But for now, it's going to be pretty cool. Okay, there we go. Thanks, everybody. Julie says thanks. Borislav says thanks. Julie says absolutely loved the last mastermind. So everybody check it out, GenkiEnglish.com. I'm Richard. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.